Hello everyone and welcome back to JLD Travels, and I am your host for tonight's show, Joey, and we are back with a new video, checking out another video with, on or by DatingWright, and it is basically a video that was done by a psychologist that's had a change of heart about passport bros after spending a month in Japan. And we will dive in straight away, and I'm loving the growth from the channel at the moment. We're only 14 subscribers away from 400, so hopefully by the end of the month we can push to 400 and then hopefully get to 500 by the end of the year, and then be halfway to that special threshold of 1,000 subscribers. And without further ado, we'll jump right in and see what he's got to say in this one.
Why it's in men's best interest to seek out the most advantageous marketplaces. It's like, regardless of whether you're a novice or a master fisherman, if you want to catch a certain kind of fish, it makes sense to go where there are more of those fishes. High-value men who have lots of sexual opportunity in the West will still travel to other places where they can get more of what they want more easily. That's not pathetic. That's rational and efficient. Even millionaires don't like paying more than they need to, even though they could afford to do so. And Western women are extremely expensive. Men here generally have to pay more for less relative to...
I just had to stop there quickly. I know it's only like 45 seconds in, but he's not half wrong. A large swarm of Western women are just so inherently greedy and expect all this money to be spent on them when they're hardly bringing anything to the table. And just like what the guy was like saying, like even multi-millionaires that have the money to do all these sort of exorbitant things and like fly first class everywhere and business class everywhere, like it doesn't change about men as a whole. They will go somewhere where there's more chance of finding someone that is going to be more on their wavelength and will be with them, not necessarily for how much money that they have or how much they earn or anything like that. And it's more on like a more emotional, deeper level. But we'll jump back in.
Other marketplaces. So I'm much more sympathetic to this movement after spending a month abroad.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. It's currently 4 a.m. in Japan, and I'm not trying to come back to the United States, bro. Bro, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Japan is just I'm not trying to leave, bro. And I'm not getting on that flight, bro. I'm gonna find a spot out here or something, bro. I gotta go back to Atlanta, bro. Like, what the we gotta do A&P shoots and videos. The new A&P crib in Japan.
Hey, what's going on, good people? In this video, we're going to be talking about a popular YouTuber who is a psychiatrist, and he's decided to open up and share his opinion on the passport bros, and it seems as if he has a changed mindset on passport men after spending a month living in Japan. So, we got to get into it and break it down. I'm not here to hold you. Let's review it.
I'm Dr. Orion Taraban, and this is Psych-Hacks, Better Living Through Psychology. And the topic of today's short talk is passport bros and international dating. So this is a topic that has come up frequently in the comments of several of my videos, and it's a topic that I've been requested to discuss by many people over the last several months. If you're unfamiliar with the subject, passport bros is the collective term for a movement among Western and specifically American men who are increasingly pursuing mating and dating opportunities abroad. These are guys who are flying to places like South America and Southeast Asia and the Middle East in order to access sexual opportunities that they argue aren't available in their home country. And I'm going to respond.
So I was going to have to quickly just jump in there, just to stop him, just to correct him slightly. It's not just about sexual opportunities. That's not what it's about. Yeah, some Western men that are going over there are going for that specific reason. But the vast majority of why Western men are going over there is because the class of women is so much higher and they have much more traditional values. They respect what they call like the nuclear family, and how do I put it? It's more the emotional connection and finding love. It's not just about that sort of stuff. It needs to be corrected, so I'm gonna have to correct him there. I'm sorry, but you're wrong about that part.
Onto this phenomenon through the lens of my recent experiences spending a month in the country of Japan. Now, I'm not very knowledgeable about this phenomenon, but to be honest, there was always something about the Passport Bros movement that felt a little sleazy and pathetic. Without really examining it, my perspective was similar to the prevailing attitude, which was something like this movement was for guys who were too low status or unattractive to beat out their intrasexual competition here. They couldn't get laid in the States, so they basically engage in geo-arbitrage to leverage a relative advantage that wouldn't exist in their home country. My attitude was something like only guys who couldn't get what they want from women here would need to uproot their whole lives and travel halfway around the world, which kind of made these men out to be conniving beta males. That was my attitude before spending a month in Japan. That is no longer my attitude now. Having spent a month in that country, I think I better understand where this movement might be coming from. And I definitely don't think it's just for loser men who can't get laid in America. Allow me to explain. From the perspective of my interests and preferences, the quality of the women in Japan was significantly superior to the quality of the women in the Bay Area. Like, not by a little, by orders of magnitude. Let me break down some of the various factors that go into that statement. First of all, the women in Japan are slender and physically healthy.
Yeah, we definitely know that's true. And that's one thing that I noticed in Thailand as well. Oh, yes, that part. Now I know he definitely took notice overseas.
I spent a month in some of the largest cities in the world, and I must have seen 10 overweight women in that entire time, half of whom were little old ladies. And these overweight women weren't morbidly obese. They were like plump, maybe 20 or 30 pounds overweight max. Most Western women literally couldn't buy clothes in Japan. The vast majority of Japanese women are slender and physically fit, which is appealing because it's not only attractive, but it indicates a compatible value as well. Like, I want people who care about their health. Second, these women are feminine. They wear dresses and heels and makeup. They tend to dress more conservatively than Western women. No tight clothes, no showing a lot of skin. The feminine ideal there seems to be like softly elegant, flowing and modest and dignified. And these aren't 1950s housewives. These are women who, for the most part, are working professionals. They have modern ideas. They are educated and accomplished, but they haven't thrown out more traditional conceptualizations of female beauty. This is not something you can easily find in the West anymore, and you can't find it at all in the Bay Area, at all. And I find feminine women very attractive. It resonates with me and inspires me to be even more masculine. Third, the women in Japan are extremely respectful. Every woman I interacted with there was extremely warm and friendly. They were receptive to conversation, and they seemed to enjoy, or at least very effectively pretended to enjoy, speaking with me. Even more, they were solicitous about my feelings and seemed concerned that I should enjoy the interaction as well.
Japanese women are very feminine. They're very demure. They're very modest. They're not combative. They're not trashy. They're not outspoken and loud and obnoxious. They are very honorable women in the sense that they don't just do something and think like, oh, what is this effect going to have on me? They think, oh, what is this going to make my dad look like? What is this going to make my mom look like? What is this going to make my grandma look like? So and that's a really good girl to have around, a woman that considers what her actions are going to affect not only her, but everybody around her.
I didn't experience a single indifferent or disrespectful word, tone, or glance from a woman in a month. This made approaching and talking to women in Japan a much less fraught experience than it is in the US. The women I spoke to seemed to take pleasure in the attention and in the dialogue. Nothing about the interaction indicated that they were annoyed or offended that I was interested in talking to them.
That is true as well. I lived in Tokyo for just under a year. The whole time I was out there, I noticed that the women was very friendly, very accommodating. But the only thing about Japanese women, I would say they are very shy. You know, traditional Japanese women. As a man, you cannot approach them very aggressively. You gotta, I hate to say it like this, you literally have to approach Japanese women as if you're talking to a teenage young girl. No creepy vibes in them, I'm just saying. You have to be a gentleman when you first approach Japanese women. That's one thing I did notice out there.
欧米の男性と付き合ってみたいと思ったことありますか？
あります。アメリカ人と。
アメリカ人。
アメリカ人。
どうしてアメリカ人？
いや、今アメリカに行ってみたいと思ったし、超紳士的じゃないですか。しかもイケメンだし。
実際に欧米の男性と付き合うってなった時に、懸念点としてありますか？
喋れないから言葉が通じない。
Fourth, while a kind of chivalry exists in Japan, it's an inverted version of what we have here. In Japan, men come first, women come second. It's difficult to appreciate how deeply the romantic ideology permeates our manners until you go to a completely different culture. For instance, one day I was walking towards the main entrance of a building at pretty much the same time as a woman. My natural instinct was to get there first and hold the door open for her. However, when I did so, she refused to walk through it, making a show of great embarrassment. And I later realized that in that culture, it would have been embarrassing for her if I had allowed myself to disrespect myself in that way for her sake.
I love the way he broke that down. I've heard of that before out there in Asian countries, but I didn't get the concept of it. But he just broke it down good right there. Foreign women want masculine men. They really don't want simp beta male men. They want a man to remain in his masculine frame.
And I later realized that in that culture, it would have been embarrassing for her if I had allowed myself to disrespect myself in that way for her sake. Another example. Many years ago, I spent some weeks in Japan studying Buto dance in an immersive program. The first night of the program, at the General Assembly, we heard a long speech on how the organizers miscalculated the number of futons they needed for the students. Apparently, there would not be enough beds for everyone, so the women would have to sleep on the bare floor without cushions or sheets until the problem was rectified. Now, there were a couple other Westerners in the audience, and I remember we were just looking at each other in disbelief. To say we were shocked would not be an understatement. The idea that the women were going to sleep on the ground while the men were going to sleep in the beds felt completely unnatural to us. However, our way of doing things is just as unnatural to Japanese sensibilities. That's starting to change more and more as Western ideologies continue to infiltrate Japanese society. But the important thing here is to understand that a lot of what many people believe to be the natural dynamic between men and women is really very culturally bounded and culturally specific. And to be honest, it felt good to be honored for being a man. Like, it's not a bad thing to be a man in Japan. In fact, it seems to come with some privileges that are more commensurate to the responsibilities that men generally take on. So let's recap. On the whole, Japanese women are slender and physically fit, feminine and demure, friendly and courteous, and respectful and appreciative. Not all Japanese women, I'm sure, but the vast majority of them as far as I could tell. When I spoke with them, the feeling I got was that they felt lucky to be interacting with me, which is a total reversal of the attitude you generally encounter in the West. I've gone on a lot of dates in my day, and the prevailing vibes were either A, that I should feel lucky that the woman was allowing me to buy her a drink, or B, that the woman needed to make sure I could give her what she wanted by conducting the date like a job interview. There's a lot of entitlement and narcissism here. It's all about her. On the other hand, My sense is that in Japan, women feel grateful for the opportunity to be there, grateful for the opportunity to be considered as a potential partner. It was extremely refreshing, to say the least. Now, I'm not a fragile guy. I'm not a loser who can't get laid. I'm not poor or low status or unattractive. I'm not a guy without options. I don't need to travel halfway around the world to have satisfying relationships with women. But I now understand why it's in men's best interest to seek out the most advantageous marketplaces. It's like, regardless of whether you're a novice or a master fisherman, if you want to catch a certain kind of fish, it makes sense to go where there are more of those fishes. High-value men who have lots of sexual opportunity in the West will still travel to other places where they can get more of what they want more easily. That's not pathetic. That's rational and efficient. Even millionaires don't like paying more than they need to, even though they could afford to do so. And Western women are extremely expensive. Men here generally have to pay more for less relative to other marketplaces. So I'm much more sympathetic to this movement after spending a month abroad.
Because the truth be told, the problem with dating and finding a wife in America is just the toxic feminism that goes on here. Western women have been radicalized by feminists. These men are walking away and letting these women die alone. But I appreciate this man taking a second to really break it down and tell the truth and bringing a little clarification to the issue. Because at the beginning of his video, he was honest about the fact that he was looking at these men like something was wrong with them. They was lame, they was corny or whatever, they couldn't get no women, or they were just low value men. But I'm glad a professional licensed psychiatrist, decided to break it down from a man's point of view.
Ladies and gentlemen. What?
Look like this guy's gonna be taking a trip back to Japan, but don't stop at Japan, my brother. I'm sure you're gonna go over there and check out Thailand. You're gonna go check out Vietnam, Cambodia, all those countries, Bali. Like, don't stop at Japan. But hopefully he do another video in the future telling his experience in another country. So I'm gonna close the video out right there. You guys drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think about what he had to say and how he broke it down or whatever. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and also like the video. If you made it this far, I appreciate you for watching to the end. I will see you in the next video.
Yeah, so we're gonna wrap it up there. Like, that guy at the start, that psychologist, like, didn't like him really at the start, and he's just assuming that basically the movement was mainly men going looking for something of a intimate nature and just that. And even though he sort of rectified it by obviously having a month in Japan and realizing that it wasn't about that in the most part, but then he has to kind of keep slipping in these intimate opportunities and things like that, and it's just like, it's not for that. There might be a small snippet that that's what they're doing, and if that's what they want to do, that's up to them. That's not what I've personally done. That's not what the vast majority of the guys in the movement are doing. He's even literally spelled it out in black and white why certain men have gone to Japan specifically, what from his personal experience, and just women as a general rule in Southeast Asia are generally more calm, that they're more relaxed, that they don't walk around having like every bit of skin that they can physically have on show, like that they're very demure, that like how they dress is very elegant, sophisticated, and they'll do everything they can to make you happy, that they enjoy the whole process of like getting to know you, and obviously like the actual like dating experience. It's just, I've not looked back my personal self for the past like 3 years, and I've had some of the most amazing experiences flying to a place that I'd never even been to before, flying by myself, and meeting someone that ended up, for me, being the one, and sometime in the future we will get married and everything else, and start building our life together in the Philippines, getting some land, paying for that, building a house, paying for that, maybe even like have our own like small little business that will just fund obviously our day-to-day expenses and everything else, and help with her family, like get them into a place where they can be self-sufficient for themselves, and not that they ever ask for anything like that, but I'm the kind of person that I won't just hand over money just for the sake of it and just keep doing it over and over and over and over and over again. I'd rather use some of my money to sort of build something for them, to get something rolling for them, and then let them take the wheel, and then they can then be self-sufficient for themselves, and then they can like start building on it and make it grow, and it'll get more successful and things like that. I'd rather help someone. What do you say? Like start a business. Sort of like that. I'd rather give them the means to take care of themselves than just be like, oh, we need a bit of money for this. Not that they've ever asked for anything, so I just want to make that clear. That it's not like, oh, I can see a leak in the roof, and then be like, I'll sort it out then, because obviously they haven't got the money to do it. I'd rather, yeah, like I said, I'd rather give them the means to be able to take care of themselves, and what form that takes, I don't know just yet, but I'm sure I'll think of something in the future. But I have to admit, I do love Dating Right's content, and I'm sorry I started laughing partway through that because I just wasn't expecting that guy to be funny. But please drop us a comment down below. Let me know your experiences of like wherever you've gone, whether it's Japan, China, Thailand, Philippines, Malaysia, Bali, Indonesia, wherever you've gone, even if it's like South America, wherever it is, I'd love to know what your personal experiences have been and your reasons for sort of why you've gone there. But thank you very much, guys and girls, for watching. Please don't forget to drop us a like on the video, share the video around, and if you're new, please don't hesitate to smash that subscribe button because we're getting so close to 400 subscribers. And please don't forget to tap the bell icon so you don't miss another video, and we'll catch you in the next one, guys.